guys. How are you doing tonight? Okay, cat's making noise. The window is open. Hi, Red. How's it going tonight? Are you having a good day? I still have volume up somewhere. Okay. Hi, Amy. Hi, Robert. Good seeing you. Okay. He might wind up jumping up here and deciding he wants to steal the show, but oh dear. So what are you guys up to tonight? Let me know in chat. I will go over a couple of updates in the meantime. All right, so my water update. I was aiming for 32 ounces of water a day, which I think that was up 8 from the week before. I think I'm starting second week on that. So far, that actually went pretty well. I didn't notice any hives. I have had some more itching, but nothing too bad, which is much better than the last couple times I've upped my water intake. And yesterday was a struggle. I know some people that drink water all the time, all day long. I don't know how. What do you guys do to just not get bored with it? Because yeah, that right now that's probably my biggest problem is I'm just so sick of water. I was still trying to get my water in at 10 o'clock at night, which isn't really helpful because then I wind up staying up later. Robert, you are always editing. Hi, Ava. Can one of you guys come get him? Okay. Anywho, you guys are talking to each other and saying hi. As far as I know, Mio is basically all chemicals. Most of them are, at any rate. If you want to just put him outside for a while, that might be good too. They were wanting out a little bit ago. Yeah, it's only when I go live or try and do a voiceover. I was going to say, like, Crystal Light's pretty much chemicals. Lemon juice is high histamine. Hi, Jeff. How are you doing today? And see, that's where my problems come in. Like, even tea is fermented in processing. So, like, I had some mint tea at my nephew's birthday party yesterday, and which, granted, I was eating stuff I shouldn't have been eating as well. But I had stayed gluten-free, and I'd avoided the raw tomatoes and stuff like that. I had a cup of tea, and literally within 10 minutes, I'm sitting here doing this. Hi, Water Girl. How are you doing today? Congratulations on winning Saturday. Hi, Ray. So yeah, I don't know. I need to dig through the freezer and see what fruit I've got in there. Blueberries were causing some issues when I stopped, but at the same time, water was causing problems at that point. So I might try blueberries. I liked peaches once upon a time in water as well. So I don't know. I'll play around with it this week. In case you are unaware, the Raid Parade is coming back this week. So we will start off at 2 p.m. Eastern Time from Roy and Becky's. I think they will have a video in it this week. And they've said that they will continue to do lives once they get home. So hopefully we will be starting off at Roy and Becky's and then doing the Raid Parade on Friday. And then at the top of the hour, I am planning on raiding Prairie Life, and the link is pinned at the top of chat. So I'm going to take that off and flip it back over here. Alrighty. Hi, George. Good to see you again. And Tim is here. Hello. Hopefully your day is going well. So, like last week, I went ahead and did this as a video so I wasn't getting distracted, and I can also talk to you guys in chat. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go from there. Give me 2 seconds to find the right tab. And it didn't do what I wanted it to anyway. All right. I will hit play.
Where you can choose between chance or change, because I think that the main difference between the two is acceptance. With chance,
both.
It's that whole aspect of life is still happening to you. You haven't accepted where you're at, so you can take responsibility for it. Whereas with change, that means you have accepted where you're at and chosen to take that personal responsibility to direct where your life is and where you're going. So let's get into this. Acceptance, as per the Googles. The first definition is the action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered. The second one, the main one I'm going to focus on even, is the action or process of being received as adequate or suitable. And for them, they go on to say that it's typically to be admitted into a group. And I guess I don't really agree with that, because I think accepting where you're at, and I don't want you to misinterpret my understanding of adequate or suitable. To me, that's a matter of wherever you are is okay. Maybe you're in a great position in life right now. Maybe you're in a really crappy one. Maybe you're somewhere on the spectrum in between. Wherever you are right now is where you are right now. Obviously, if you're listening to this, it means you are still breathing, you're still alive, you're still here, so it is adequate. Maybe there's some elements that are not quite to your liking or suitability, but by accepting where you are right now, you can choose to change that direction. But for the discussion at hand, the action or process of being received as adequate or suitable. The first step toward change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. Nathaniel Brandon. change something comes from being aware that it even exists. If you are unaware that something is there, is a problem, is in existence, you're not going to change it because you don't know it's there. That would kind of be like saying, okay, we're going to change the venue for this event from X location to Y location because the power might go out even though you don't know yet that there's going to be a storm the next day. I mean, I don't know, maybe you have premonitions and you just knew that. Most of us don't operate that way. Even if we have gifts, most of the time, we just have to be operating in our zone of awareness. So, become aware. And then that second step is acceptance. If you are unaware that there are seed stalks from dandelions that are 6 inches tall in your yard, if you're just unaware, you aren't going to think, maybe I need to go mow those seed stalks. It's just not going to cross your mind because you don't know that they're there. If I know that they're there and I accept that they still exist, because, even though my kid's sister came and picked dandelion tops, I'm going to be somewhat aware that she's not going to pick my entire yard worth of dandelions. So I can just kind of accept that they will still be there, the next day. And since I'm aware that my lease says I need to keep my yard to 3 inches or less, I actually am going to accept that because I know it's in that lease, and I can make the choice to change the height of my yard by going and mowing the dandelion top. However, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So this gets us back to that change aspect. So I dealt with this a lot over the years in different aspects of my health as well as my household. You guys know that I have been decluttering a lot this year, and I have mentioned more than once that I started my decluttering journey back in probably 2008. I may have started it just before then. I joined Fly Lady's website. I believe it was July of 2008. And I'm no longer a part of that, but it kind of gave me a definite point. So I know 2008 in July is sort of an anniversary of decluttering. Now, 2008, a little bit of quick math, 2018 would have been 10 years. It is now 2021. So I have been decluttering for, 13 years? It'll be this year. So in that time frame, I have had to accept several things. So I started, and of course, at that point, I was aware I had clutter. I mean, that's just one of those things. I was aware I had clutter. Now, by becoming aware, and to some degree, I accepted that, okay, it was there. And so I joined Fly Lady, and that was my taking personal responsibility for making a change in that area. Okay? Just like with my health, I've been on numerous occasions told, oh, well, there's just nothing we can do, or we don't see anything wrong by medical professionals. My vertigo is a huge one of these. I was treated as a teenager. I don't remember ever getting diagnosed with it, but I know I was on medication for it when I got pregnant with my son. So I know I was treated for it, and I know that that dosage had been upped multiple times without working, mind you. So I knew I was treated for it then, mainly because I've been working on this paper project, but we'll get to that in a minute. And then it seems like I've been diagnosed probably 2, 3, 4 times in the last 10 years with vertigo. And there was never really anything they could do. The explanation on what vertigo was that I was given was an unexplained dizzy sensation that would last for an unknown amount of time. And they gave me something called the Epley maneuver, or I've been given the modified Epley maneuver. And I've had a couple different revisions of that, depending on the doctor I was at the time. Yeah, but the definition never changed. It was unexplained. And that's not really helpful when you're a single mom and you're laying down 3 times because you're too dizzy to stand up and you're trying to cook supper. So I was aware there was a problem. And for a while, I literally just thought I was just going crazy. When I finally accepted that if something was going to change, it had to be my making that change, it gave me the power to try to figure out what was causing it, what was happening, what was going on. And I'll be honest, y'all, I found something that worked 3 to 4 years before I knew why. Because it wasn't until last spring that I knew why. I just knew that it worked. But if I had just taken them at their word and said, well, I just have to live with it. And I did that for a while. I accepted that it was just a fact of life. But then accepting that it was just a fact of life also meant that I had the control to figure out ways to work around it too. And sometimes I think that's just as important as figuring out what's causing it and fixing that. So, back then, one of my main things that I wound up doing, and I felt bad about it at the time, but guys, if you have family members that have the manual dexterity to do something and the mental capability to follow instructions, they are capable of learning to do something. So I actually would get supper started and have to go lay down. And my kids learned, probably between 6 and 8, how to finish supper. It'll probably come up next week when we're talking about being prepared too. But accepting that things were the way they were gave me the power to start trying things to see how I could work around it and to see if anything helped. And in case you haven't watched some of my other videos, one thing that helped was getting rid of the chemicals in my laundry. And then eventually I chose to try a supplement that I didn't figure could be any worse than whatever the prescription that didn't work would cost. And that's when I started taking Lemon Gall. And guess what? It took a little bit of finagling with the dosages, but it actually worked. And I got a lot of my life back. My kids had learned a lot of how to cook. And we kept things simple back then. It was macaroni and cheese with hot dogs and peas, or sausage and peas. It was spaghetti sauce made out of some cans of tomatoes and a can of tomato sauce and, boiling some water for noodles. And sometimes maybe that looked like I'd have stuff ready to go and that water would boil so long because I didn't want my kids to burn themselves on the steam that I wouldn't let them do that part. The pans would boil dry. Really glad for my Instant Pot these days. That wouldn't have happened that way. But, back then I didn't know. I didn't have that option. I'm not even sure Instant Pots existed at that point. But by accepting where we're at and choosing to do something different, we can make the change happen in the way that we want to, rather than letting life happen to us and not, we can choose to do something different instead of letting life happen to us. And we can take that personal responsibility and make a change after we've accepted where we're at, and that we have the personal responsibility to shift from where we are to where we want to be. So, accept you first. I haven't always been good at this, so I'm not saying this is the only way to go about it, because over the years, I have been much better at accepting other people as they are before accepting myself as I am. One of my main takeaways from college came from my behavioral psychology class, I think it was. And it was that the only person you have any control over is you. You don't have control over your kids. You don't have control over your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your ex or anything else. You just have control over you. And even when it seems like you don't have that control, part of the problem with not feeling you have that control is not accepting where you are, what you're doing, and the personal responsibility to change it if you don't like it. So if you don't like what's going on in your life and you accept that you don't like what's going on in your life, that acceptance is the place where you have a choice to either change what you're doing if you don't like what's going on, or you can stay where you're at. And if you have a great life and you like what's going on in your life and you are just living the dream, congratulations. Congratulations. For most of us, we probably have to accept the fact that we aren't at our dreams yet. we might be able to drop back to last week with the personal responsibility topic and realize that if we accept this is where we are, and it's within our power to change that by taking that personal responsibility and saying, you know what, I don't like where I am. This is my current, but I want to be over here in my future. We can take the personal responsibility and say, okay, this is where I'm at. I accept that. And then we can make a plan to get to where we want to be. But if we're too busy denying where we're at, instead of having a plan to get to X from Y, where we are, we've got a plan to get to X from Z, where somebody else is at. So accepting where you're at, good, bad, indifferent, has to be the first step in that process after you're aware of the discrepancy or aware of what's going on. You know, I mean, I can't say that I like everything about my life right now, but it's actually doing pretty well. Am I where I want to be? No, not at all. But I'm actually getting a lot closer than I had for a few years before this.
In the back. Okay. Come back over here. Do or do not. There is no try. Yeah. But I'm a keeper. I have trouble picturing you as a jerk, Tim. I'm not seeing that so much. Hi, Lisa. I know I've seen the Kung Fu Panda. I don't remember it at all. Thanks, George. And I am sorry, guys. I am causing earthquakes. He's the one that said he was a jerk, not me. I'm saying I have trouble picturing him as a jerk. I'm thinking that might not be an accurate description of himself. Just my opinion. But you know. I'm not gonna accept that, Nate. I don't want to know. Hopefully they're at least true words. And before you say anything, Ray, yes, it is milk. It's not moose milk. It's just milk. I actually had my water done today before, I think it was about 2:33, somewhere in there that I got home and I finished it. Basically sitting in the car doing the little phone thing while Yeah, I accepted responsibility for neighbor kids that decided they were going to use the natural gas lines going into a house as a jungle gym because, well, I didn't really want to blow up or have a major gas leak. That just didn't sound like fun to me. Hopefully their parents didn't care. They were apparently locked out. So does that mean Nate's just doing lives naked then? If the loincloth doesn't exist? Because I'm not sure that would follow terms of service, Amy. Just thinking, maybe. Oh, that's not good, Red. I actually have a friend that, so they had two cats, I think, and one of them passed, and they wound up adopting a kitten, and that had supposedly had all the shots and testing and stuff, and it was fine. And then they took it to their vet, and it had feline leukemia. And they wound up, after the other cat passed, they just started adopting cats with feline leukemia so that they don't, because they're often not deemed adoptable. Okay, you don't get to climb on all the way on there. I got to be able to see. He's not allowed to do lives naked. Well, that's good to hear, Amy. Cat came and took the measurements. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's basically, I was like, do you know what that is? And of course they had no clue because they were maybe 7 or 8. And then it was like, so, it has gas in it, and if you put holes in it or it breaks, then it can blow up. And the look on the one kid's face was like, and he was the main one that had been climbing on it, and he just kind of he stood there gently with his hand on it, like, okay, it's not going to go anywhere if I hold on to it. For a topless live stream, Ray. Okay. And Hooks and Hammocks is probably going, what on earth did I walk into? Is Hooks and Hammocks Chris? Because I'm sitting here and my brain's going, I'm not remembering a name. So, do you guys... I am not doing lives naked. And not doing lives from the campground because, well, that's against the rules. So, no worries there. But apparently Ray wants to do some where he can... I'm not sure how doing a live is going to help with the bad tan line. I think a trip to Black's Beach would... I don't know, maybe he's planning a field trip for us? I just don't know. Okay. Hi, Chris. It might take me a little bit to remember that, but I do my best. And before I... Um, it is actually against the rules at my campground to film outside of your camper. And where my camper sits, I can't reliably guarantee that no one is going to walk past windows, and I don't have curtains. So, no, I will not be doing lives from the campground. Because that's just how that's going to work. Because I have accepted the fact I'm fine with the terms of service of. Oh dear. Yeah, no lives from my campground. So anyway, do you guys have anything that you are? I was gonna say, and see, I poured this right before I came in here, and now I'm like, the glass is sweating, and now I've got water everywhere that I don't. So hang on 2 seconds. I am going to move the onions so that it doesn't get wet. Well, thanks for stopping in, Chris. Hopefully you have a wonderful night. I was going to say, and just so everybody's kind of on the same page, tomorrow I will hopefully be doing my premiere at 2 p.m. Eastern as normal. And then Thursday night, I do have the herb journaling live, and that will be starting into dill, and I will show you guys what I wound up with the last couple of things on onion, which, in all honesty, I haven't finished yet, but by Thursday, it'll get done. I do have the kids this week, so I don't have my computer most of the time, so the onion printout type stuff will not be done. I'm just going to go ahead and say there. It's not going to be done by Thursday. I will try and get it done by the next week, and hopefully at that point I know what I want it to look like, and I can just plug the stuff in for dill and have that a lot quicker. I like Ray's thing. Park where you want to live. Hey, DJ. All 3 letters. In case you guys haven't seen it, DJ seems to think it's the 1st of April. But he had a very funny short earlier. In case you have a minute to waste. Hi, MB. How are you doing tonight? It was hilarious, Nate. I'm like, what on earth is he doing with this combination? If anybody decides to try DJ's recipe, please, pretty please, record it. What, as far as what you do with it after the fact, because, yeah, otherwise, I don't know, maybe you'll break a tooth. Oh, wow. All right. So, and see, Amy, that was my problem. I really wanted to just go, okay, so is he putting that in a pan to pop it, or we just have random Baymax sightings occasionally? Yeah, and that really threw me off, because it's like, well, I'm not popping it if I've got coffee creamer in there. No cat? You won't let me pick him up. Nate wants to know if a panda just walked past me. It's supposed to be Baymax. Whoever Baymax is, I really don't know. Well, Ray has accepted the challenge, apparently, and had an idea from that mess. You guys are scaring me. That's my official response to that. Wow. I'm going to accept the fact that we've just completely devolved, and I fully expect to see either very strange or dangerous combinations of food coming in the near future on these. Hi, Khadija. You're just catching us here at the end. We are about to jump over to Prairie Life. She's got a Great Plains photographer that she's going to be interviewing tonight. And then after Prairie Life, I believe Red from Redheaded Riding Hood will be live. So thank you guys so much for coming. Hopefully you... Beaver nuggets? Amy, did you do a taste test video on that? Oh my. Did you share it with the dogs or the cat? Because, you know, they might like those too. It sounds horrible. I'm sorry. Oh my. It's a Texas Buc-ee's thing. Is it actually beaver? Or is this one of those chicken tastes like everything things? Oh, apparently Eastern is now Kenneth's time. Yeah. No, Karen's on actually probably any minute, and we are going to go raid her. Oh, caramel popcorn sounds yummy. Definitely a 10. Ay, ay, ay. Thank you for dropping that link, Ray. I am going to say good night to you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Let's go look at some awesome photography and get some ideas for whatever we are working on. Definitely consider looking around your life and going, you know, if I just accepted that for what it is, I'd be able to figure out a plan to get it where I want it to be or how I want it to be. Or I could just be a whole lot happier if I accepted it as is. So with that, have a great night. I will see you guys in a minute or two. And then tomorrow for my premiere at 2.